You've been consuming red pill content for quite some time, and you've somewhat become obsessed with trying to become alpha. And it's understandable, after getting out of a long-term relationship with a toxic ex who emasculated you for many years, it's totally understandable that you want to seek out your own information and grow and develop yourself into becoming strong, powerful, and masculine again. But all of a sudden you realize that a lot of the stuff that these red pillers tell you is absolute bullshit. And after following a lot of the advice that they give you about women, you've had zero success. And then all of a sudden it finally hits you. You become disillusioned because you realize that the true definition of being an alpha is someone who follows in their own footsteps, who leads their own life, and doesn't follow others. And you've now realized that you've become exactly what you've been trying to avoid all along. You've become a beta male. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good red pill content out there that has helped many men. And towards the end of this video, I'm gonna share with you 3 important steps that you must follow to become an alpha male in your life again. So stay tuned. Now, when I started my personal development journey, I was seeking out a lot of content on YouTube. I came across some positive influencers who really helped me understand that my happiness is my accountability alone. Nobody else is responsible for that. And what built that foundation for my own happiness was really focusing on my physical health, my mental health, building my financial status, as well as continuing to dating women, but doing it in a healthy way. So there is some good content that's helping men find joy and happiness after going through a major breakup or even a divorce in their life. But on the flip side, you've probably found that there's also a lot of toxic red pillers who just spew negative rhetoric towards men. And especially, I feel bad for some of these men who are just absolutely broken, have had no positive influence in their life, and now they're actually taking some advice from some of these toxic influencers, and it's actually causing more harm than good to them. And so some of the examples of the negative stuff that they're spewing focuses around women, the generalization that all women play the same games with men, that they only date across and up, and that they're very quick to leave you as soon as they find someone who has more money, who has more muscles, who's taller than you, who's got a bigger dick than you, whatever the case may be. As soon as something's nicer on the other side, she's just gonna leave you. Imagine that seed being planted in your head, and you go out and you look into the world trying to date women with this in the back of your mind. That affected me for quite a bit. Going out in society and trying to connect with women again, thinking that, wait a second, are they judging me? Are they looking at my height? Are they looking at my race? Are they gonna be wondering what kind of car that I drive? It made me feel so uncomfortable many times when I tried to approach women and tried to just build a connection with them. So that's one toxic piece that you wanna avoid. The second toxic piece, and this is the one that I think is the most obvious one if you don't see this already, is a lot of these red pill influencers talking about how to be an alpha high value man. And their definition of that is that you got to earn a certain amount of money, you have to have a certain height, you have to look a certain way, you got to act a certain way, you have to have these certain percentages to be the top 2% of men. And that's great and all, but those are all superficial and materialistic possessions. And think about the types of women that these guys are attracting. That's the funniest thing about these guys is that they claim that I have all of these things, and that they complain that women want to take advantage of them because they have these things. Make it make sense. And not only that, the fact that they continue to show people, look what I got. I got this house. I got this many cars. I got this many women. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of an immature teenager who needs validation externally to feel powerful, and they're just showing off everything that they have because that's all that they feel that they have to offer the world. It's kind of sad when you think about it. And, taking a step back, these are men who have never really grown up, who are hurt, who've never really recovered from heartbreak or even from a toxic relationship. And now they're trying to advise men on how to have a strong relationship with women when they don't even know or don't even have good examples to share with you. So that's a lot of the negative stuff that they're sharing online, and it's influencing young men, but also influencing a lot of vulnerable men, especially the ones who've gone through divorce, who are just absolutely broken and are looking for any sign of hope to become better in themselves. So if you come across any kind of content like that, just stay away. Those are the warning signs. Now, what you do want to focus on are these three areas that will help you become stronger, powerful, more masculine, and being an alpha male in your life. And again, the definition of being an alpha is someone who takes their own direction and who follows in their own footsteps and isn't a follower, they're a leader in their own life. So remember, the definition of being an alpha is someone who takes a lead in their own life and doesn't follow in others' footsteps. Yes, you can take advice, but ultimately you lead your own path. So the first step that you want to take in terms of transforming your life again is, if it's not obvious, focus on your physical health. Now, here's the thing when it comes to physical health. You don't need to be jacked, but you need to work on yourself so that way you have a great physique and you look healthy, because to women, what attracts them is it's not just the physical body, but what it actually represents. Having a fit body means that you have discipline and that you focus on self-care. So that's very attractive to women because it also shows that they're not going to have to worry about a man who's going to break down, who doesn't know how to deal with stress, who isn't strong enough to deal with life's challenges. You already represent that physically in front of them. So that's why your physical shape is so important. And the best advice I can give you, it doesn't have to be the gym, but you want to do something on the regular that will help you build lean muscle and also lose fat. So for me specifically, it's going to the gym. I go 5 days a week. If you're gonna go to the gym, the best way you can get started is with compound exercises. Those are exercises that use combinations of multiple muscles versus isolation exercises, which focuses on one specific area of the body. You can save those for later, but if you're starting off your fitness journey, start off with compound exercises and just try to go 2 or 3 times a week for about 30 minutes each session and start to build up from there. You'd be surprised how quickly you can turn your body around just by simply doing some sort of physical activity and exerting energy and anger into the weights. You're sweating it out, so you're gonna start building lean muscle and start losing some fat a lot sooner than you expect. So that's the first step, is focus on your physical shape. The second step that you need to focus on is your mental health. And the easiest way that you can start focusing on that is through a hobby. Not just any hobby, but one that actually makes you feel like time doesn't exist. And the 2 best examples I can give you of that, for me, my 2 favorite hobbies are cooking as well as hiking. I love cooking. Part of it is because it reminds me of growing up with my mom. Some of my fondest memories were learning how to cook with her. But more importantly, it immerses me in all 5 senses. So that's taste, touch, smell, hearing, and sight. And from the time that I start my food prep all the way till the end when I start enjoying what I've cooked, I don't even keep track of time because I enjoy the process that much. It takes my mind away from everything else that life throws at me, whether it's thinking about what I need to do for my kids or what do I need to do for my job, coming back to work. Like, it removes me from all my stress, and I just get to simply focus on making this meal for myself. So that's why I love cooking as one of my hobbies. And same thing for going hiking. There's so many different trails out there that you can experiment with, from easy to difficult ones, but also it gets you far away from life's everyday challenges in your head, and it forces you to focus on the trail itself, because yes, there's dangers, you want to protect yourself, but it also forces you away from the screen and immerses you in all of the beauty that nature has to offer. So find some hobbies that you can immerse yourself in that will make you feel that time doesn't exist. And it's one of those things that you're not waiting for it to end. If anything, you want it to last longer by the end of it. So focus on that as your second step. Now, before you get to step number 3, the one thing I need to emphasize is you need to become proficient in step number 1 and 2 first. You need to make sure that you have full control of your physical health and full control of your mental health. Because step number 3 has to do with dating women again. And if you don't have steps number 1 and 2 down, that means that you don't fully own your happiness. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that many men make nowadays, is that when they start dating and trying to approach women again, they think that finding women and having a relationship again will complete them and make them happy. It's not how life works. You need to own your own happiness first, and you need to find a woman who has that same approach in life. The women who expect men to make them happy are the ones that you want to avoid. And the reason for that is that these women are the ones who don't take accountability for their own actions, who don't take responsibility for their own happiness. And when things go wrong, when she's not happy, she's very quick to blame externally. And guess what? That's you. And then those are the women that move on and try to find someone else who's going to fill that gap that will never be filled because she still doesn't understand or hasn't experienced in life what it truly means to own your own happiness. So that's why steps number 1 and 2 are very important. Now, when you get those steps down, now you're ready to start dating women. And what's gonna help you a lot is because you know how to own your own happiness, you can start asking and talking to women about what does happiness mean for them and discerning, are they on the same wavelength? Is this someone who's gonna complement your life? Or is there still some additional growth that they need to go through before they're ready to be with someone, to be with an alpha like you? So that's gonna be the biggest tool that's gonna help you decide if that woman that you're meeting or that you wanna date is gonna be worth your time or not. And it really boils down to, do they own their own happiness and do they understand what that actually means for themselves, and are they willing to be accountable for it? So I hope this information finds you at the right time. You follow these 3 steps and I guarantee you, you will feel like a masculine alpha male in this next chapter in your life. I'm curious to hear your thoughts down below. Leave them in the comments. If you are looking to transform yourself after your divorce and make this the reason why you turn into the greatest version, click in the link below for a free consultation. I'd love to talk to you. I have some open seats left for the upcoming group in October. Until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.